Funny Little Theatre presents The Trojan Women by Euripides.
I, Poseidon, god of the sea, have risen from the ocean's depths, where choirs of sea nymphs dance in the foam, to gaze down on the smouldering ruins of my city that was Troy. Apollo and I built this city together, every stone we laid, every measurement exact. The ring of walls and towers, shimmering citadels and spires. Since then I have loved every part of it. Now it lies stripped, blackened and smouldering, sacked by the Greeks. Sacred groves lie deserted, temples run with blood. On the altar to Zeus, the king of all the gods, and my own brother, they cut King Priam's throat. Measureless gold and all the loot of Troy go down to the Greek ships. They wait for a following wind, so that after 10 years, 10 sowing seasons, they can joyfully be reunited with their wives and children, those Greeks who brought an army to destroy Troy. Now the riverbank echoes with screams and moans of captured women, as lots are drawn for them to be allocated as slaves. That one, weeping and lying by the gates, is the poor defeated queen Hecuba. She mourns for her husband and her sons. But I have been defeated too by Athene and Hera, fickle goddesses who supported the Greeks. So I too must now desert once proud Troy and leave behind all those altars and temples dedicated to my name. For who is left to worship me in all these streets of ash? Farewell then, Troy. I will never again see your shining ramparts, soaring towers. Farewell forever. If Pallas Athene had not decreed your ruin, you would stand firm yet.
Winds! Poseidon, most mighty god, whom even my own father and all of heaven look up to. Is it possible to set aside our recent hostilities?
Anything's possible. After all, Athene, we're still family.
I thank you for your generosity. There is something we should talk about that affects us both.
Go on, I'm listening.
I want us to form a powerful alliance together, on behalf of Troy.
You don't make any sense. How can your hatred turn so suddenly to compassion for the city you just incinerated?
We don't have much time. Just answer me, please. Will you join me and support my plans?
First, I need to know for sure. Whose side are you on now, Greece or Troy?
I'm on the side of Troy, and I'm determined to cause those Greeks a disastrous journey home.
As the goddess of reason, how can you explain such a radical change in your loyalties? Where is the logic?
I have been insulted. My temple desecrated. Ajax dragged Cassandra from sanctuary. The Greeks didn't even punish him for this sacrilegious profanity. Not even a reprimand. And now the temple dedicated to me burns.
And after all the help you gave them to win the war, what gratitude!
They will be punished for that. Together, we shall make them suffer.
You have done me a great wrong. My temple also burns. My city lies in ruins. Your treachery will not be forgotten. But as I said, we're family, so I will help you. What do you need?
We must bring about a catastrophic return voyage. Zeus has promised fearful hail and inky tempests from the sky, and will hurl down fiery thunderbolts to strike the Greek ships and burn them at sea. You must make the seas roar with mighty billows and whirlpools and spew out corpses into the hollow bays so that the Greeks will learn their lesson and in the future respect my temples and show humility to the gods.
It shall be done. I will raise a tempest of such magnitude across the Aegean that the beaches of Mykonos and the rocks of Delos to Skyros and Lemnos and the headlands of Capheria will be piled high with the bloated corpses of the drowned. When the Greeks cast off their ships, tell your father to hurl down his lightning bolts. When a man sacks cities, destroys sacred temples and the tombs of the dead, he is a fool. and his own destruction follows close behind.
Get yourself up, Hecuba. Shake off your misery. Raise your head. Ignore your aches and pains. You're at rock bottom today, but tomorrow your fortunes could change. Though your old life is destroyed, stay strong. Be resilient. Endure the present. Swim with the stream. No use struggling against the tide. When fate strikes, go with it. But I can't. What courage I have is weighed down by grief for my burning home, my sons and husband, all lost. What anguish must I suppress, and what sorrow can I declare? My heart would burst. My sick head beats and burns for those whom fate has cursed. Even music itself sings but one note. Unending miseries, torment, and wrong. Like the mother bird at her plundered nest, my song has become a screech. Come, you widowed brides of Trojan warriors, weeping mothers, trembling daughters, Troy is burning. Come weep with me while our beloved city goes up in flames.
O Hecuba, your cries of anguish echo through our tent, piercing our hearts with shards of terror. We face a life of slavery. What shall we do?
Look down at the harbour. Even now the Greeks are preparing their ships, ready to leave.
What will they do to us? Will they take us now?
I don't know. But prepare yourself for ruin.
It's too much to bear. Soon we'll hear the dreaded order. Move out of your tents, you slaves. Move, we're setting sail for Greece. Come on out, you Trojan sisters, all of you, and see for yourselves what fate has in store for you.
But not Cassandra. No. Do not bring the poor frenzied girl out here for her madness to be mocked by the Greeks. Please, not another insult to add to my grief.
Most royal mistress, it is with a trembling heart that I ask you what they intend to do with us.
Do they mean to kill us here? Force us on their ships? Ravage us?
My children, I don't know.
Think of the worst. It will be that.
The worst. It will be that.
When will a messenger come with news?
Have we been allotted yet? And when will we be told?
Soon. It will be soon.
I can't bear the weight. What unknown man will force me from my homeland and carry me across the seas to some bleak island?
And whose slave shall I become in my old age, in what far country? A wretched old woman, worthless, an empty shell. Yes, sir. No, sir. Answering their door or tending to their spoilt offspring. An aged, useless ghost. Unknown, ignored. A shadow of death. A slave. I, who was once a queen.
Queen of Troy.
Never again to hear the sweet song of my shuttle as it passes back and forth across the loom in the shadow of Mount Ida.
Fetching and carrying for them, at the mercy of their every whim.
My husband and children are all dead. Only the enduring memory of their bloody corpses remains.
Cherish the memories of when they lived. Be strong. There is worse to come. Best be ready.
Worse? How?
To be dragged unwillingly to a Greek man's bed.
I shudder at the thought of how my woman's body might surrender to desire.
Gods curse such a time, and the evil powers that bring us to it.
I've heard that the plain of Thessaly at the foot of Mount Olympus promises a good life even for a slave. Let's hope I end up there.
Or perhaps in famous Athens, where the streets are paved with gold. Or so they say.
Anywhere other than to Sparta, the hateful home of Helen, to watch her gloat. In triumph and forced to be a slave to Menelaus?
The monster who sacked Troy.
Look, someone's coming.
Who is it?
A messenger from the Greek army, hurrying here with urgent orders.
What has been decided?
What will be his message?
Now
Our slavery begins.
There can be no escape.
Hecuba, remember me? Talthybius, messenger from the Greek camp. We've met before, on many occasions. I have some news for you.
Women of Troy, dear friends, the dreaded news is here.
You have all been allotted. Is that what you feared?
Where? Where must we go? Tell us where.
You've been allocated separately, each chosen by lot, each to a different man.
So who goes to who? Which man? Which woman?
Is it joy or tears?
Name them one by one. I'll tell you.
Then tell me, Cassandra.
Agamemnon chose her for himself.
What? To be a slave to Clytemnestra? Feared as much.
Not at all. Our great king wants her as his bedmate, his concubine.
This can't be. She is a consecrated virgin, blessed by the radiant Apollo to live in lifelong purity.
Of course. Don't you see? It's this guarantee of virginity that places her in such high esteem with His Majesty.
Oh, my child. Hurl down your temple keys, strip off your sacred robes, trample your garlands on the ground.
Come on now. It's quite an honour to be a king's mistress.
And what of Polyxena, my other daughter?
She serves Achilles at his tomb.
Attended at a tomb? My daughter? Talthybius, is this some strange Greek tradition?
Be glad for her. Her pains at an end.
What does this mean? Is she alive? Does she see the sun?
She's found peace there. Her suffering is at an end.
And Andromache?
As widow of the heroic Hector, she too was a chosen prize, and goes to Achilles' son.
And what of me, leaning on my stick, white-haired Hecuba? Whose slave am I?
You are allotted to Ulysses, a slave in his household.
Ulysses? No. No. This is the cruelest fate of all. Anyone but him. To be that monster slave. I spit on him! Liar, deceiver, whose treacherous tongue twists truth to lies, friendship to hatred, mocks right and honours wrong. Oh, Ulysses! Oh, women of Troy, weep for me, your most unhappy queen!
And what about us? What's to become of us?
Just wait. You'll all be divvied up soon enough. Now, fetch Cassandra here. Agamemnon grows impatient to receive his prize. What is that? That red glow? Fire in the tents? Are the women burning their dwellings? Not setting fire to themselves? Ah, a suicide pact. Death before exile. This will not do. The blame will fall on me. Fetch them out now. There will be no unfortunate suicides on my watch.
Be quiet! There is no fire, no burning. It's Cassandra. She's mad.
Hold this blazing torch up high, let the flames glow bright, light this holy place. O Hymen, god of marriage, bless the bridegroom, bless the bride who soon will lie beside her princely lord. Mother, whilst you weep for our dear dead city and my murdered father, see me lift the torch, see its gleaming radiance as we honour Hymen and sing his praises. This is my wedding day, you should be joyful. Mother, lead the dancing step with me, whirling in ecstasy faster and faster. Women of Troy, put on your finery and sing wedding songs to celebrate my destiny.
Stop her, your majesty.
Hold on to her.
Or she'll dance her way right down to the Greek camp.
Give me the torch, my child. You're not holding it straight.
Be calm. No more wedding songs.
You need your wits about you now.
Listen, mother, crown my head with flowers, rejoice at this royal match, and if I seem to hesitate, take me, fling me into Agamemnon's bed. For I swear, by Apollo, that my deadly deeds will far outweigh Helen's treachery. This marriage will be the ruin of the Greeks. Cassandra shall be their doom. I'll kill him. Destroy his whole house in revenge for the death of my father and brothers. Quiet, Cassandra, quiet. Shh. There's no need for details now. The axe, the broken skulls, my own bloody throat, the rivers of blood. By my sacrifice, a royal dynasty will be destroyed. The son will murder his mother. The house of Atreus will fall.
Please stop, Cassandra. Your prophecies won't get us anywhere. Think of your mother.
You are making her look foolish in front of our enemy.
You may think me possessed, but you'll see. I speak the truth, sane. Now, no madness. I tell you this, Apollo's words. There is no victory for the Greeks. 1 million lives squandered on foreign land for one woman's sake. They perished, not in defense of their homeland as our men did. They died for nothing. No tender hands were there to bind their wounds, no shrouds, no prayers, no sacred tombs, only mounds of rotting corpses consumed into Trojan soil. The unknown soldiers of a pointless war. And though we are defeated, we have our honor. We fell defending our own beloved land. Our Trojan dead are buried in sacred earth according to our customs, cherished and remembered as heroes. Raise up your heads, stand firm, don't weep for Troy, don't weep for me. Those who embrace me will be destroyed by me.
You talk in riddles.
These prophecies of yours won't happen, you know.
If Apollo hadn't caused your insanity, you would face punishment for your threats against our generals. It never ceases to amaze me how little difference there is in the lives of the good and great and the common man. That our most mighty ruler, Agamemnon, has let uncontrollable lust overcome him for this mad woman is beyond me. I certainly wouldn't let her anywhere near my bed. And as for all this talk of honourable Troy, defeated Greece, they're just words that float away on the breeze. Come on, let's get going. Like they said, you talk in riddles. We'll be back for you soon, when Ulysses is ready. You will be Penelope's slave. It won't be so bad. Everyone thinks well.
You're the only slave here, you ignorant lackey. My mother will not be going to Ithaca. Apollo has made it clear that she shall die here. And as for Ulysses, he will suffer. Oh, how he'll suffer! He's got another 10 years of torment before he reaches home. He will endure a living hell as he crosses the marshes over the Lake of the Dead. When he finally reaches Ithaca, his own home will be torn apart by troubles, 10,000 of them. But enough of him. Let's get going. I am eager to meet my betrothed. Lead on to the gates of hell, where you, great general, never to see the sun again, will die dishonorably scrabbling in the dark. As for me, my naked body too will be flung out beside your own into the raging ravine where the vultures will circle, eager to feast on our rotting flesh. But quickly now, which is my ship? Take me on board. Wind catch the sails and speed my bloody revenge towards Greece. Goodbye, mother. Please, no more tears. Farewell, dear Troy. My dear dead father, my dear dead brothers, I am coming to you. It will not be long before I join you in the shadows. Our meeting shall be one of triumph, as I bring ruin to the house of Atreus, who destroyed us all.
Most royal mistress, pray to the gods. It's our only hope.
The gods? What good are they to us now? Betrayers! Yet people still call upon them when they're down on their luck, when their whole world has collapsed. But I don't trust them anymore. They are fickle allies. Better to remember the good times.
The good times?
When you were happy.
Happiness seems a lifetime ago.
A distant memory.
A long-lost dream.
In truth, it was just hours ago when our joy so cruelly turned to grief and Troy fell.
That same morning, from high on the height,
We saw the deserted Greek camp.
And at our gates a great wheeled horse, on towering legs and bridled with gold, stood unguarded.
From the rocks of the citadel, our people cried out,
The war is over, the Greeks are gone.
Bring in the horse as an offering to Pallas Athene, daughter of Zeus, our Lady of Troy.
Who has forgiven us?
young and old, rejoiced in the street.
Roped with cables of twisted flax, they heaved it like a black ship to Athene's temple.
They worked at it all day, and as night enfolded Troy, in celebration,
the melodious sound of lutes filled the air.
The old tunes were played.
Our hearts were joined in singing,
And in the rhythm of dancing feet,
Torches in every house scattered the darkness, flickered in sleep.
Just hours ago, we were singing our favourite songs, joining in the dance, when a shriek of death rang through the city.
Trembling children clung
To their mothers as war sprung forth from its hidden lair.
And spread its sad red wings.
Pallas had forgiven nothing.
Our men and boys,
Slaughtered.
heads hacked off,
Women ravished in their beds.
mothers of Greek bastards, widows of our Trojan dead.
Tweedledum and Tweedledee agreed to have a battle, for Tweedledum said Tweedledee had spoiled his nice new rattle.
Your Majesty, a chariot approaches.
It's Hector's widow, Andromache, with their son Astyanax in her arms.
Where are you going?
My Greek captors are taking me.
Misery. Nothing but misery.
Don't you sing my dirge of loss.
Our loss.
No, all mine. Bought with my husband's blood.
You are all my children.
No longer. We have grown old with tears.
I weep for all my sons.
I mourn for only Hector.
I weep for our fallen city, smouldering in the smoke.
This is all your fault. Because of you, the gods hate us now. You defied them and let Paris live. Your son, my brother who through his lust for that woman toppled Troy. Now the bloody corpses stretch at Pallas's feet. The scavengers feast hungry for meat, while we look on as slaves.
No, stop. This is more than I can bear.
Hector, my husband, where are you? I need you now. Save me.
Can't help you now. Accept it. City lost. Children lost. All is lost. Only tears upon tears remain.
They say suffering people can find some comfort in tears. To give voice to grief is a kind of pleasure.
Comfort, pleasure. Can't you see what they're doing? We are loot, my son and I. Born royal and now slaves. A cruel twist of fate.
Necessity is logical and merciless. We have no choice. Cassandra, torn from my arms.
There's more to bear. Your daughter's dead. Polyxena. They cut her throat on Achilles' tomb.
No. No. What a fool I am. I should have worked it out from that man's ambiguous words.
I saw her body. Covered her with a veil.
My poor child. What a terrible death. Butchered like an animal.
Yes, a terrible death. And yet, it is over for her now. Happier than I, who am still alive.
No. No one is happier dead. The living at least have hope. To be dead is to be nothing.
Can't you see? There is no hope. What is there to live for? Listen to what I am saying. To be dead is the same as never to have been born. Far better than grovelling in the dirt. And so it is with Polyxena. No pain can touch her now, her sufferings forgotten, gone. But I still suffer, and I know that I suffer. I aimed high, gained my prize, a royal princess, a handsome prince. Everything lost. Riches to rags. I was so happy devoting myself to Hector, staying at home, raising our son, dutiful, contented, the ideal wife. But my spotless reputation has been my undoing, and I am to be the whore of Achilles' son, a slave in the very house of the man who murdered my husband. I tremble at the thought that my memory of Hector will be forgotten, and that I will give my heart to some other man and betray the dead. They say it takes but one night of pleasure for a woman's hate to turn to love. I spit on wives who transfer their desires so readily from bed to bed. Hector, you were the only man I ever loved, the first to touch my maiden flesh, to reveal the ecstasy of the marriage bed. And now the vision that this same flesh will surrender to passion when united with a stranger makes me want to tear myself to shreds. You say everyone living has hope. What hope have I? I cannot cheat myself with delusions of some future happiness.
Your suffering is the same as ours. Your words echo how we feel.
At sea, when sailors meet rough weather, they work hard to hold their course. But when there is a violent storm, they drop their sails, give in to fate and pray for calm waters. So it is with me. Beaten down with despair, I go with the flow, bite my tongue, endure. You should do the same. Hector is dead. Your tears won't bring him back. Honour your new master. Snare him with your charm. That way you'll help us all. Bring up your son to be the saviour of Troy, who will one day return to build a new city from this rubble.
Messenger returns. What now?
Don't take me. I've been sent unwillingly with news. A decision has been made.
What is it?
Your son... How can I say it?
Different masters? They're separating us?
No Greek will be his master.
He's to stay here in Troy?
There are no decent words to break this news.
Just get on with it. Spit it out.
They're going to kill him.
No! No! A forced marriage I can bear. Please! Not this!
Ulysses persuaded the assembly that the son of such a father might prove a threat to Greece in years to come. And they all agreed. He is to be thrown from Troy's battlements. Come on. Be sensible. Hand him over. No one can help you now. Your city's destroyed. Your husband's dead. You're quite alone, our prisoner. So, come on. Let him go. Give in to the inevitable. Accept it with dignity. Come on now. Give him up. Don't try our patience. You'll only make us angry. Provoke us and your son won't die so easily. Won't lie in a grave. Cooperate and he won't be left unburied. And you will gain respect.
My darling, my precious boy. Too dangerous to live. My angel, are you crying too? Do you understand what's happening? Is that why you cling to me? Let me hug you tight. You smell so sweet, so tender in my arms, dearer than all the world. I endured your birth, suckled you, tended you day and night, for nothing. All for nothing. Say goodbye now, and kiss me one last time. You Greeks,
You think yourself so civilized but frightened of a child. Here, take him. Smash his head against the walls. Feast over his corpse. I can't protect him now. The gods are destroying us all. Take me to the ship. To my royal man. Bless the bride. My son is dead.
I feel quite faint. I'm not really cut out for this work. I just don't have the stomach for it.
Oh, my sweet grandson, fate has robbed me of your young life. All we can do is mourn our loss. Our city is gone, and you are gone too. There is no agony we don't already feel. What's left for us?
This is not the first time Greek armies sacked our city.
Not for the first time our sacred groves flowed with blood.
Not the first time we awoke to a smouldering ruin.
A land laid waste.
The stones of Apollo's city shattered and burned.
And now again, Greek arms have turned Troy to dust.
The land of our birth a blazing heap again.
Like a gull screeching for its young. Hear wives scream out for husbands. Hear mothers for sons. We are abandoned, deserted. The gods hate Troy.
Even the sun shines brighter today, this most glorious of days, when I shall finally get my hands on that faithless whore Helen and make her suffer. Yes, I am King Menelaus. You may have heard of me. The man who endured 10 years of war because of a woman. Or so they say, but that's not entirely true. It was because of a man. Paris, that philanderer, who entered my house as a guest but deceived me and stole my wife. Thanks to the gods, he has paid for it. Him and all his people have been butchered by us, the Greeks. We have turned his great city into a charred wilderness, and now it's her turn, the Spartan slut. I can't even speak her name. I must decide her punishment. What to do. Kill her here on the spot. Or better still, return her home, where the mothers and widows of the men who died at Troy will lynch her and tear her apart. A fitting end. Guards, get in there and bring her here. Drag her out by her hair, sticky with the gore of the men she murdered. All we need is a fair wind and we'll have her home.
Oh, great Zeus! Can Hecuba believe in you? You who both supports the earth and rests within it. A riddle beyond man's understanding, whoever you are. I praise you, and at last trust you will uphold justice.
What kind of a prayer is that? What does it mean?
I honor you, Menelaus, if you really do intend to kill your wife. But I warn you, don't see her now. Don't risk becoming a slave to your lust again, as she dazzles you with her beguiling smile. With just one look, she captures men's eyes, destroys cities, burns houses to the ground. I know her, and so do you. And all those who have suffered know.
Leave now. Please don't see her.
Enough. This is ridiculous. Bring her to me.
Menelaus, my love, what's happening? Are you trying to frighten me? Your men have dragged me here so violently. I know you hate me. I'm almost sure you do. But please, let me ask just one thing. Are you going to kill me?
Yes.
Please, give me permission to explain. Let me make a case as to why it'd be so unfair to take my life.
No appeal. I want your death. Now.
I warned you not to see her, Menelaus. But since she's here, you might as well let her speak. Permit her to defend herself. Whatever she has to say, I will have an answer for it. I know all her lies and tricks. She'll prove guilty on all counts.
It's just time wasting. But she can go ahead. For your sake, though, not hers. As far as I'm concerned, she's already dead.
It probably makes little difference what I say. You've already made up your mind. And since you won't talk to me man to lawful wife, I'll imagine your charges and answer them one by one. She, Hecuba, is to blame for all this. She was the one who gave birth to Paris. She and her husband, old Priam, defied the gods who, seeing that the child would cause destruction, ordered them to slay the brat. But they didn't do it. Did you? All of this starts there. And so what happened next? I'll tell you. Paris was asked to judge a beauty contest amongst 3 rival goddesses: Pallas Athene, Hera, and Aphrodite. Pallas offered him the whole of Greece at the head of a mighty army. Hera promised both Europe and Asia if he chose her. But Aphrodite only offered me. She simply described my beauty. Of course, as you know, Aphrodite won. And your luck was in. My luckless marriage benefited Greece. Your gain was my loss, sold for my beauty and damned by those who should respect and honour my sacrifice. No doubt you wonder why I failed to resist and slipped away from you. Paris did not come alone to our home. There was an all-powerful goddess at his side, and you were a thoughtless husband. You set sail for Crete, leaving me alone with our charmed guest. And my next question is to myself. What was I thinking? Why did I go with this stranger? Betray my friends and country, abandon my home and husband? Ask the goddess, not me. Punish her. Punish Aphrodite. As soon as Paris was dead, I tried to make my escape to the Greek ships to get back to you, my love. Tried to lower myself from the battlements on ropes. The guards can prove it, because they always caught me. Can you still think it right to kill me? I was abducted and raped, forced to live in a foreign country I despised, a slave. This was the will of the gods. Are you such a fool that you challenge them?
Your Majesty, speak up for your children now.
Expose her lies and her treacherous claims.
Don't let her get away with it.
First of all, do you really think that any sane person is likely to believe that 3 great goddesses would act with such brainless stupidity and trade their sacred land for first prize at a beauty contest? No sensible person will be taken in by your own wild imaginings.
You're ludicrous.
Laughable. No. The truth is that as soon as you saw my handsome son, you were consumed with lust. Your own lust, not Aphrodite's, your own, so don't blame her. Added to that, you were dazzled by his robes, his gold. Greed was combined with lust, and you had to have him. You always had to make do back in Sparta, and you wanted more. So you saw your chance to have it all, sex and money, business and pleasure. So stop pretending you were carried off against your will. It was your choice, and you revelled in it. How often did I plead with you to leave my son and go home, end the war? But that didn't suit, did it? It would mean no more strutting around your great palace, men ogling and drooling at your feet. And now, to top it all, you parade yourself in front of your own husband. Dressed to the nines, brazen, worthless. I spit on you. If you had any decency, you would come here on your knees in rags, your head shaved, begging forgiveness for your wicked deeds. Menelaus, be firm. Kill her. For you, for Greece, for all of us.
Kill her, Menelaus.
Your ancestors will curse you if you back down. Be strong, noble. Take your revenge.
That is what I intend to do. I firmly believe she went to a stranger's bed of her own free will, and all this talk of Aphrodite is complete nonsense. Take her to be stoned now. It won't take too long. For us, it was 10 years.
No, it's not my fault. I beg your forgiveness. Blame the gods, not me. I implore you to spare me.
Menelaus, don't forget your friends, your allies, their children, whose death she caused. I beg you to...
Enough, old woman. I've already told you. She means nothing to me. Take her away. Board the ship.
The ship? But your order was to stone her now.
It was. But better she die in Greece.
Maybe. But don't let her travel on your ship.
Why's that? Has she put on weight?
Once a lover, always a lover.
That depends on who the lover is. But have it your own way. It's sound advice. We should travel separately. When we reach Greece, she will get what's coming to her. A shameful death to match her shameful life. Let it be a warning that terrorizes the hearts of all unchaste women so they learn what duty means.
Do you think he has the strength to carry out the sentence?
Will they sail on different ships? Or will his reputation as her sexual slave triumph despite his promise of revenge?
No doubt between our ruins and the beach, she will wheedle her way onto his ship, into his bed, and return with him to Sparta, his wife and queen. And as before, men will kill, torture, destroy, abase themselves to kiss the ground she walks on. And we are left with nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
It's clear now, Zeus, you have betrayed us to the Greeks, in every way.
Our sacred temples, our altars, the sweet smoke of myrrh rising to the heavens.
Our citadels, our fertile glens, snow-swollen streams, the glow of dawn illuminating our precious land,
are gone.
No more hallowed rituals, hushed singing in the mystic night. The beauty of our festivals at each full moon
are gone.
Our uneasy hearts fear your disregard for us as you look down on the embers of our home.
The husbands who we loved, the fathers of our children, will walk this charred land as ghastly spectres.
The unwashed, the unburied dead.
And we, their widows, will be shipped off to hostile foreign lands, where only old age and loneliness will greet us.
Whilst Helen is raised to glory once again, and preens herself in golden mirrors, vainly admiring her self-satisfying beauty.
Our one final prayer, if any gods exist to hear it,
is for a blazing thunderbolt to hurl through space and obliterate this most perfidious of vessels.
Let it burn and sink, and she whose face launched those 1,000 ships be washed up on some far-off shore.
Naked, bloated, food for the fish.
Justice for Troy!
No. More agony, grief upon grief. Look, they're bringing us the body of little Astyanax. They threw him like stone from the city walls.
One ship alone waits in the harbour, soon to set sail with the remains of the booty, which includes you. Achilles' son has had to leave in a hurry. Some trouble at home. A usurper to his king.
10 years of it here, and now history repeats itself. Always war somewhere. And what of Andromache?
He took her with him. Before she left, she wept and prayed at Hector's tomb. I found it rather touching. See, I brought you this, Hector's shield. She appealed to her new master not to claim it for himself, which, of course, is our custom. And he compassionately agreed. So, there won't be any need for a coffin. Astyanax can rest on his father's shield. We need to get a move on. I've already saved you one sad task. I've cleaned up the body as best I can. And now I'll dig the grave. As I said, we don't have much time. I'll be back soon.
I lay his shield upon the ground. My Hector's shield. It should bring me joy, but it tears my heart. Oh, you Greeks! Pumped up with power and pride! Are you proud of this? Even with our army slaughtered, our city in ruins, you fear a child so much. You murder him? His final resting place, a little tomb deserted here amongst the shattered columns of our city. And carved upon it will be, "Here lies a murdered child, because he frightened Greece." Cowards! I despise you and your irrational, stupid fear. Oh, my little one. To die so young. Never to know your manhood's strength, love's sweetness and the godlike pride of kingship. All your life ahead of you. All the world in these tiny hands. The image of your fathers. They hang limp and lifeless now. The old buries the young. The world turned upside down. You vicious gods! You planned all this! Troy was always the chosen target of your hatred!
What was our offence?
Weren't our sacrifices good enough?
The answer's no. They were in vain. But perhaps one thing you didn't plan. Our great fall from grace has saved us from obscurity, and our sufferings shall be immortalized in song and verse throughout the centuries. The story of the wooden horse, that tawdry Greek trick, will reverberate around the globe, and the courage of Troy will be eternal.
Please, dear Queen, don't offend the gods. There's always worse to come.
Look, flames! They're setting the city alight!
You all know the order. The time has come to get to work and burn the city down. And when that's done, we can get out of here. Home at last, after 10 long years. It's hard to believe. You women, when you hear the signal, file down to the beach. Our ships are ready to sail. And you, old woman, are allotted to Ulysses. You remember? He sent his servants to fetch you.
This surely is the pinnacle of all my earthly sorrows. No point appealing to the gods. They don't hear us. Into the flames! Now! Into the embrace of our blazing city! Die now! Die here in Troy!
She's turned mad with sorrow. Grab hold of her. I can't have her going up in flames. Ulysses is waiting.
Oh, earth of Troy! On our knees, we beat the ground and call on you to swallow us into this hallowed soil, where we shall walk for all eternity with the ghosts of those that we have loved.
What does it mean?
It's the death throes of our wounded city as it tumbles into our blood-stained earth forever.
The dust rises
as if on wings to heaven and
robs us of our final sight of home.
The dreaded signal heralds the beginning of our exile. Women, stand firm, be strong and resolute. Though we tremble and our tired limbs ache, we shall not walk meekly away from our homeland. Let them use force, drag us, wrench us, tear us unwillingly from Troy.
scours the land where mothers' sons killed mothers' sons. Now they could weep no more. No glory here. No glory here.
God against God.
God against man.
Man against God.
Man against man.
An endless cycle of destruction from the cradle to the grave.
Paper, scissors, rock. Chase you round the block.
Sticks and stones will break your bones.
Ready, aim, fire. The stakes are getting higher.
Missiles primed and ready. Finger on the button. Steady.
Chain reaction has begun. The mushroom cloud blacks out the sun.
Stupid, bestial people.
You sustain a constant state of war and call it peace.
Playground tussles.
Rival gangs. Turf wars.
Tribal disputes.
Gangland standoffs.
Border skirmishes.
Religious conflicts.
Full-on armed combat.
Still waging war?
Bombing cities.
Torturing, burning, beheading, poisoning.
The bomb has now become your god.
Do you really believe that each new war will end all war?
The suffering, the sorrow, the glory, the shame, the killing and the dying, it was all done in vain. Oh, women of Troy, it all happened again.
And again. And again. And again. And again.
Here's the score. No more war.
Rise up, take my hand. The nameless ones, the blameless ones, left weeping on the shore. No glory here. No glory here.
The Trojan Women was adapted and directed by Pauline Armour from a translation by Edward Philip Coleridge. Poseidon was played by Gerald Bishop. Pallas Athene by Hazal Han. Hecuba, Roxana Graves. Leader of the chorus, Jan Greenhoff. Talthybius, Bruce Wallace. Cassandra, Bethan Boxall. Andromache, Alicia Clark. Menelaus, Howie Ripley. Helen, Alice Rose Foster. The chorus was Sally Bishop, Olivia Kennett, Jane Custner, Jenny Mazur, and Karen O'Neill. Introducing Iris Adams as Astyanax. All other parts were played by members of the cast. Sound recording was by Andy Shaw. Editing and sound design, Rob Widdicombe. Foley by Yasmin Irian Anjani. Technical support by Simon Tyrrell Lewis. The Blameless Ones was written by Rob Widdicombe and sung by Olivia Kennett with vocal arrangement by Chris Gardner. This has been a Bromley Little Theatre production.